What if the ancients weren't just builders of pyramids and writers of myths, but messengers trying to warn us about something? Across the globe, ancient civilizations left behind carvings, prophecies, myths, and monuments, some of which seem to scream with eerie foresight. Could they have known something we forgot? From skygazers in the deserts to temples swallowed by jungles, the echoes of past disasters and lessons learned the hard way may still be whispering through time. Maybe they weren't just telling stories. Maybe they were begging us to listen. These are 10 ancient warnings our ancestors left behind, and their messages might be more relevant now than ever. Flood myths appear all over the globe. Too many, too similar, and too ancient to ignore. The Epic of Gilgamesh from Mesopotamia, the biblical story of Noah, the Aztec tale of a great deluge, and even Indian texts like the Matsya Purana speak of floods so powerful they wiped out entire civilizations. At first glance, these seem like moral tales, but scientists have found evidence of massive sea level rise around the end of the last ice age. About 11,000 years ago, coastal cities drowned, river systems restructured. These myths could be survivor accounts passed down through generations. They weren't writing fairy tales. They were warning us about the sheer force of nature when climate shifts suddenly and humanity is unprepared. Göbekli Tepe, the oldest known temple complex in the world, predates the wheel, writing, and even agriculture. It was built by hunter-gatherers over 11,000 years ago, yet its carvings show symbolic animals, cosmic alignments, and what some believe are references to a cataclysmic comet event. But the real mystery? It was deliberately buried under tons of earth. Why would a society go through the effort to hide their greatest achievement? Some theorize it was a desperate attempt to preserve knowledge, hide from something, or even reset their society after a disaster. The carvings may be a message in stone, meant for someone far in the future, someone like us. Stretching across Peru's desert plains, the Nazca lines are giant geoglyphs etched into the earth. Animals, plants, humans, and strange geometric shapes, some over 1,200 feet long. They can only be seen from the sky. The Nazca had no known ability to fly, so why make them? Some believe they were ritual pathways or calendars, but others suggest the Nazca were dealing with increasing droughts. The culture eventually collapsed due to climate change and resource depletion. The lines remain, not just as art, but perhaps as cries for help etched into the earth itself. The Book of Revelation is often viewed through a religious lens, filled with dragons, beasts, and angels. But look closer, and it reads more like a coded warning. Written during the Roman Empire, it describes the collapse of a corrupt, overreaching world power through famine, disease, war, and fire. Its metaphors mirror what happens when societies devour themselves from the inside out. Revelation isn't just prophecy, it's political commentary, spiritual allegory, and ecological caution. It reflects a timeless truth. Civilizations that lose their moral compass and ignore balance with the natural world are doomed to fall. History shows this cycle repeating again and again. When the Mayan calendar's long count cycle ended in 2012, many thought it predicted doomsday, but Mayan scholars have long clarified. It wasn't an end, but a transition, a cosmic reboot. The Maya believed time moved in great cycles, and each cycle ended with transformation, often after chaos. Their own civilization collapsed not from war, but from deforestation, water mismanagement, and a breakdown of social order. The long count's ending was symbolic of a choice point, a moment where societies must return to balance or face decay. It's a stark reminder that endings are often just new beginnings, shaped by whether we learn from the last fall. In ancient Greece, the oracle at Delphi was the most trusted voice in the world, offering divine guidance to kings, generals, and philosophers. But even when her cryptic messages were delivered, they were often ignored or misunderstood. One famous example, King Croesus asked if he should attack Persia. The oracle said, "A great empire will fall." He took it as approval. His empire fell. The warning here isn't just about war, it's about arrogance. The ancients believed ignoring spiritual wisdom and living out of sync with the divine or natural order would always lead to ruin. Warnings were given, but humans don't always listen until it's too late. At its height, Angkor was one of the most advanced cities on Earth. It had complex water systems, roadways, and monumental temples like Angkor Wat. But this incredible civilization fell, not to war, but to weather. Studies show that extreme droughts, followed by intense monsoons, destroyed their irrigation system, leading to agricultural collapse. The city was abandoned, reclaimed by the jungle. The lesson here is haunting. Even the most advanced societies can fall if they rely too heavily on fragile systems and ignore environmental stress. grass, Angkor's temples still stand, silent reminders that the Earth's rhythms can undo even the mightiest of empires. The people of Rapa Nui built towering stone heads, moai, that watch over an island once rich in forests. But as their population grew, they cut down trees for boats, tools, and fuel. Eventually, the forest vanished. With no trees, there were no boats. No boats meant no escape, no fishing, no trade. The ecosystem collapsed. Society followed. Today, the moai stand in silence, as if mourning the lost paradise. The warning is painfully clear. If we consume without limit, we destroy the very systems we depend on. The statues aren't just monuments, they're tombstones for a society that went too far. The Hopi people of North America carved a message into stone, a line split into two paths. One path shows humans living in harmony, connected to nature and spirit. The other shows chaos, destruction, and disconnection. According to Hopi elders, these are the two futures we face. The carving includes symbolic warnings, the arrival of strangers, the invention of machines, environmental destruction. They believe we are now at the end of the chaotic path, and that we still have a choice to return to balance. The prophecy rock isn't about fate, it's about free will. It's a map, but we must choose which road to walk. Plato's story of Atlantis tells of a technologically advanced civilization that grew arrogant, ignored divine law, and fell in a single night beneath the sea. For centuries, it was considered myth, but new research into ancient submerged cities and sudden post-glacial flooding suggests Atlantis may be more than fiction. Whether literal or metaphorical, the warning is clear. Civilizations that prioritize power over wisdom, domination over harmony, and growth over balance are doomed to destroy themselves. Atlantis wasn't just a lost city, it was a parable, a cautionary tale written in waves, waiting to be read by those who still have time to change course. Across time and continents, our ancestors left behind signs, not just of who they were, but of what they feared. Their stories speak of water, fire, arrogance, and collapse. These weren't just superstitions, they were survival strategies. And today, as we face climate extremes, global tension, and technological upheaval, their messages feel less like relics and more like instructions. The real question is, are we wise enough to listen now before it's too late? If you found this fascinating, don't forget to like the video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more ancient insights with modern meaning.